Okay YouTubers, thanks for tuning into my channel. Today I'm going to do a wee bit of chat about some of my saws that I've got. A bit of background to me is, used to be, I suppose what you call a professional logger. Did a lot of arbor work, power line clearance, tree surgery, forestry, and you kind of name it, and I've probably done it with a chainsaw. But now I don't do it pro. I still have a few hobbies etc, one of them being chainsaw carving, a bit of chainsaw milling, and again a wee bit arbor and a wee bit forestry. I still do it weekends and high days and holidays. So we run through my saws. These are, say in the tin, a wee Husky 135, a Sugi carving bar on it, and a Stihl MS201. Pretty gutless wee saws really, but do what they say in the tin. They are good for carving, doing a bit of detailing, fine stuff. Good and light to use and give a good finish with the small pitch chain on them. Aye. Next up, this is my Husqvarna 560. Absolutely cracking saw. Everybody's raving on about the new 572 and all the rest of it. I think 560s are a wee bit underrated on YouTube. I find it a fantastic saw. I think it's an 18-inch bar I've got on it. It's done a lot of work, that saw. Only problem I've had with it was the throttle cable snapped, and that was it really for the amount of work that's done. I've also got I've got a carving bar for it as well, the same size. Oh, a bit windy in the background here today. Bit of a damp day in a damp Scottish island. And next up, we have this. Now, this is my Stihl 661. It's actually got a narrow bar on it and a small Pico chain on it because I use it for milling on my Logosol mill. There's the nuts you use to attach it to the carriage for the Logosol. Fantastic saw, really gutsy big saw. I don't really buy into the whole Husqvarna Stihl argument. I think in this day and age the technology must be pretty much the same with them all, and they do seem to perform very well. Good big gutsy saw, they'll really like it. I've done a bit of hardwood firewooding with it and the normal bar and chain in it, and I've also got I think it's a 25-inch bar that's on it. I've got a 25-inch normal bar and I've got a 32 I think it is for it, so I've done some pretty big stuff with it. Good saw. This one, this is a classic old nuts and bolts saw. If you've got a 395, I'll bet you love it, because this is a beast. It just cuts and cuts and cuts. Again, I've done a lot of work with it, felling big trees, bit of hardwooding. I think it's a 32-inch bar I've got for it as well. That's about a 28 that's on it just now. Originally I bought that for my Alaskan mill. It's a 48-inch Alaskan, so it's just a wee bit underpowered for ripping, but still a good saw. I've done a lot of work with it, and I just like the fact that it's old technology. Not a lot to it really, no auto tune or anything, just a great saw really. And then when I decided that the 395 is a little bit small, I invested in this, the Husky 3120 XP. For me, that's what you call a saw. It really is. Big gutsy saw. That is a 42-inch bar on it, I think. I have got, for the 40-inch Alaskan, you need to run a 54-inch bar, and I've got a 54-inch bar with a ripping skip chain on it, which is great. The saw pulls it no problem, and with it being the skip chain, it seems to smooth out any sort of vibration when you're milling. Cracking big saw. I think all I've had with it was a carburetor cleaned once, had a bit of muck in the carburetor, so no problems with it, touch wood. And then, a week before last, I bought myself one of these new Husky 572s. Lovely saw, really well balanced saw to use. I've probably only put about 6 or 8 fills through it just now, and it's lovely to use. It reminds me back when I was in my early teens and I started this game. It actually reminds me of the old Husky 380s. It had plenty of guts in it, only this thing's obviously an awful lot lighter and a little bit higher revving. I used the old Husky 266s for years. They were a fantastic saw. Went through 2 or 3 of them when I worked in commercial forestry, and I think it was something like 262 or something I had as well, but the old 266s were a great saw, as was the 380. It was second hand when I got it, and this kind of reminds me of that. I think it's just the torque and the grunt that it's got. Very able saw. So that's the collection really, or some of the collection. I've still got a bit of a graveyard of them in my shed, of old 266s, etc. But the next one I'd like to have a shot of is the new fuel injected, is it the Stihl 500i or something it's called, the new fuel injected one. I would really like a shot of one of them, but if you've got a few chainsaws, I'm sure you'll agree you can never have too many chainsaws. So on that note, from a rather damp, windy Scottish island, thanks for watching, catch you soon.